What's up everybody, Kill423 here, working on an Xbox 360E. I'm going to do a quick breakdown video for you. Conveniently enough, this thing is brand new and it's so shiny you can see my face in it. I really like this model. I think the Xbox One should have looked just like this. Instead of being so big and bulky, this thing is just beautiful. It's a very lovely looking console. They actually did something right here. But let's go ahead and get into this video, the breakdown process. We're going to start on this side. This is the hard drive side, and we're going to go ahead right here. There's a little release tab. You just pull it towards you and lift, and that's how you gain access to the hard drive slot. There is no hard drive in this particular console, but that's where the hard drive would be. Okay, I went ahead and adjusted my camera up a little bit here. These are built a little differently. Normally in the past you've needed a special tool, like for instance with the FAT360 you had a tool like this. These don't require that tool. They take a little finagling. I've seen a lot of people using wedge pry tools, generally plastic, so that you don't scuff up the outside of the shell here. Myself, since everybody knows I typically have fingernails, I can just take and stick my fingers right along in here and just kind of pry it up. Let me go from this side, stand up here, right along the edge here. Now what it is that holds it in is just like on the 360 Slim. There's just these little tabs here that lock in, and you can see the remainder part of the tabs, like right here. Fighting a little bit of a cold, so I apologize if I'm sniffly this whole time. Live in South Dakota. It's flu season. Okay, now we're going to move to the other side. We're going to do the same thing here. Just kind of work your way around on it. This console is brand new, so it's never been opened. Just to give you an example, a lot of times in the past it's been a little bit more difficult to open it the first time. This time, not so much, at least thus far. This is my first time working on one of these. Never had one open. Alright, next step, we're going to want to take out our Wi-Fi card here. To do that, we're going to want a, what is this? I guess a Torx 9. Torx bit. Actually, I believe on this one you can get by with the Torx 10. Good to see somebody's been inside my toolkit. So all my tools are jumbled around. I'll just take that out. It just pulls out just like a USB port. Now, where this console differs from the 360 Slims is right in the front here. The way that they built the disk drive is kind of locked in there. So you actually have to take it apart. You have to pop the disk tray out and take the cover off of it. So what we're going to do, as you can see right there, there's that nice yellow marker. We're going to take a straight device. In my case, I'm just using a nice stiff paper clip. We're going to stuff it down inside there. And when you push on it, it pops the disk tray out. So we'll go ahead and pull the disk tray out. Remove your paper clip. And then we're going to take off this front bezel here, which just pops off. Once you get that off, you can go ahead and close this back up. and that gives you the access you need when it comes to taking apart the case. Now, on the back side of the console, we've got a warranty sticker right here. That typically gives some people some troubles. I usually don't have any difficulty with it. Myself, a lot of people will take a pry bar, because down inside here, let me kick my light back on. Down inside here, you got your clips that hold it all together right in here. But you can take a pry bar and stick it down in there and pry it loose. Or a lot of times with the old 360, you could just squeeze the back side. I don't know if it's going to work the same with these. I'll go ahead and use the pry bar. Pry it open there and pop it apart. And we'll go to the other side, and it's going to have two as well. I'm going to try this method. It doesn't seem to want to work. I'll go ahead and let's take and slice this warranty sticker here. That way it's out of the way and not going to cause any troubles. Yeah, that's not going to work, so try and keep this other side from closing back up. Yeah, it's a bit difficult, but I'm taking stuff this down inside. Okay. Don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this. Okay. It just takes a little bit of finesse is all. This stupid thing doesn't want to go. There we go. Now the bottom one's latched. There we go. Now we got that broke apart. I'll show you what it is latching it here. You got two tabs, one on each side. And then we'll set this aside. And those lock in down in here, and then we got another tab right there. That's the one that was giving me the most trouble. But these are the lock-in tabs right here. Now that we got that apart, we're going to take our Torx bit here, T10, and take out the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 case anchor screws. These are what hold the top of the case on. A lot of people use a battery powered drill, screw gun. Take these out. I personally don't have one, so normally I'd use this, but it seems somebody lost my bit. That's what happens when I leave my stuff sit out, and then the wife takes it upon herself to go ahead and clean up my mess. So I gotta use my teeny tiny little one. I got a lot of snork on these from the factory. When you put it back together, you don't have to get it quite as tight. And again, I'm sure they're using a machine to do it. Really hate using this tiny little screwdriver. It's so small, it's hard to grip it. Okay, that one was actually loose. Okay, once we get these 5 screws out here, set them aside, and we'll flip this console back over. You can see the faceplate's already started to separate. We can remove the top, set that aside. Now here we got a ribbon cable that is attached both to the ring light module. Well, actually this is the touch sensor, and then it's attached to the front of the console as well to the ring light module. It is actually glued on right there. So we'll take and just kind of pull that glue off. And right here, this little brown piece here, it just pops up. I'll come in tight on it for you. This brown piece right here pops up, and that's how you release the ribbon cable. We got the ribbon detached. We can set the faceplate aside. Next, we're going to remove the disk drive. Turn it around, make it convenient for me. You do this, you just lift up. We got a SATA cable on the back side here, and then we got our power cable. Here's your disk drive. Set that aside. We can take our fan shield off. Now this is where it becomes more like a regular 360 sling. Go ahead and pull the hard drive plug off. Little screw that holds that in place there. On the back side of the console, you're going to find another Torx bit right there that secures the hard drive chassis in place. So we'll go ahead and take that off as well. Now, we're going to flip it over and go to the underside here. On the underside, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 screws we're going to take out that anchor the motherboard in place. There's actually 4 more that go through the heat sink. Hold the heat sink down. This screw right here is the other screw that holds the hard drive chassis in place. You can see over here where the curved side is. It's this screw right there. Once you get that one out, you can actually flip it back over if you like and pull the hard drive chassis out. Myself, I'm going to just take all these screws out. I tell you, it's been a long time since I've done a video. Okay, now that we got those out, we'll go ahead and take the X-clamps screws out as well. There's 4 of those. Again, that's a T9 Torx bit. now that we got those out, the motherboard's fairly loose in here. We'll flip it over and go to the ring light module. There's 2 screws that hold the ring light module in. And these are again T9, the same as the X-clamp or heatsink bolts. And it's been a long time since I've done a video because we had another kid. Up to 2 now. We got a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I really haven't done a video since she was born. So hard to get peace and quiet. And she is so much more mischievous than her older brother ever was. Got those 2 screws out. Go ahead and pull the ring light module out. I haven't worked on these before. There's actually this it's not really a ring light module anymore because there are no lights on it. There's no lights. In the past you had your power light and your 4-quadrant lights on there, and they're not built onto this anymore. Okay, now we'll go ahead and I'm gonna pull my camera a little bit closer to me so that I'm more comfortable. A little bit too much. Go ahead and pull this here out, and that's your hard drive chassis. It just lifts out once you got the other 2 screws out. Now we're getting into the main board here. You got the DVD drive bezel kind of damper, holds it in place, keeps it from vibrating too much. Get that out, and we'll unplug our fan here. Don't really need to do that step yet, but I'll get it out of the way. As you can see, I'm grabbing it by the heatsink here, or by the fan, and just lifting the front. You gotta watch out because there's these little tabs on the USB ports that will catch the cage. So just lift it out of the cage like so. And now you're down to your motherboard. So technically this is the Xbox 360E completely disassembled down to the motherboard. Over here we got our hard drive cable. Go ahead and unplug that from the SATA port. And then it's got another little cable. We'll set that aside. This is our DVD drive power cable. Pull that off. And then we got our DVD drive SATA. Now your DVD drive actually goes to the inside one. Remember that. It's pretty self-explanatory when you go to put it back together. And actually, if you look right here, I'm probably not going to be able to zoom in enough. Right here it says ODD blue, and then over here it says HDD red. So they've got it labeled on the board which one of these SATAs is which, so you can figure it out again in the future. Now if you want to take the heat or the fan off, you got 1 screw over here on this side and then 1 screw opposite on this side. Those 2 screws, you take them off and you can pull the whole fan off of the heat sink there. Myself, I'm not going to take the fan off. I very rarely ever do. Now we'll flip this board over, and on the other side here you got your X-clamp. That's where you see me using this as a pry tool earlier, which I kind of bent it a little bit. That's where this tool comes in handy. This is the Team Executor X-clamp removal tool. This nice little fork here, you stick it in like so. It actually goes into the slots on the X-clamp, and you just take and pop it up. Sure beats doing it the old-fashioned way of sitting here with screwdrivers trying to pry it free. One time I did that and I slipped with the screwdriver. This is when I was just getting started, and I tore some capacitors off the bottom of the board, and countless times I've had to repair such things. Once you get the X-clamp off, I'm flip this back over. I was just going to say, it's got a bit of a firm bite to it because of the thermal paste on the underside. I always recommend changing out this thermal paste. I'm not a fan of the thermal paste that Microsoft uses. It's a ceramic based thermal paste. Very short life expectancy, big cause of red ring of death amongst all the consoles. Weird. First time opening this. This thing's never even been turned on, this console. It's brand new out of the box. I unwrapped it myself. And there's weird brown goop stuck to the heatsink. Like somebody was eating while building a console. Just goes to show the quality check at Microsoft is not where it should be. Somebody got a little sloppy. Actually, and I have no idea what that stuff is. So there we have Xbox 360E all torn down. Now, being that you broke the heatsink off the console, when you take it off, even jarring it, loosening the screws and stuff, this one had a real nice grip on it. But you always want to go through and clean up this thermal paste and go ahead and clean it off. Myself, you can go down to your local Radio Shack and you can get some of this stuff. It's a two-step chemical process. You got your thermal compound remover, and then you got your thermal, or your purifier, your surface purifier. So you use this and you just put it on the thermal paste and let it sit for about a minute. With this white stuff, usually because of the crappy compound that it's made out of, you can just take a Q-tip and scrape it all off without even having to use the surface cleaner right away. Now, once I get it all off of here, I'll still take my surface cleaner and I'll still put that on there and let it soak for a minute, and then go ahead and clean it off again. You want to make sure that you get the area nice and clean. That way when you reapply thermal paste again, you basically you don't want to put new thermal paste on top of old thermal paste. You don't get the same bond that these 360s really require. The purpose of the thermal paste is to basically, you got all kinds of pockets in the metal. The metal surface, even though it looks nice and smooth and all that, it's not as perfect as it looks. When you look at it under a microscope, you find little pockets all over. So the thermal paste actually helps bond between and fill those pockets between the heatsink and the chip itself. The other thing you might notice is this chip, it looks like it's huge. Well, this is actually basically a heat dissipating cover, and you can pry this cover off, and underneath is where the actual chip is. This cover is glued around the edges, and then it's got thermal paste underneath of it as well that bond it to the main chip. I don't typically take it off, even though they use the same crappy thermal paste underneath this. But there you have it, the Xbox 360E all torn down. I'm going through and removing the thermal paste at the moment. I will not be reapplying thermal paste in this video just because I have some more videos to do afterwards. This console is going to get modified. So, to reassemble, you just play the video in reverse. Excuse me. And just go ahead and put it back together. So once again, this has been Kill423, and this has been a Xbox 360E Super Slim Teardown. I hope you enjoy, and I hope it helps you get your console open without breaking anything or too many questions. So, alright folks, you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next video.